Forget the common narrative. Forget the romanticized notion of a dusty treasure map among ancient scriptures. Most people, when they hear Dead Sea Scrolls, picture parchment, maybe leather, fragile, sacred texts unearthed in desert caves. They picture wisdom, prophecy. But one scroll, one terrifying anomaly, defies all of it. It isn't parchment. It's hammered copper, meticulously etched with a list so staggering, so utterly impossible, it has driven generations of scholars, archaeologists, and desperate adventurers to the brink of madness.
The Copper Scroll, designated 3Q15, discovered in Qumran Cave 3 in 1952, presents an immediate material contradiction. Unlike the roughly 900 other Dead Sea Scrolls, which are primarily literary or religious texts inscribed on animal hide or papyrus, 3Q15 is crafted from a thin sheet of pure copper, approximately 2.4 meters long and 30 centimeters wide, hammered into two distinct rolled sections. Its content is not eschatological prophecy or communal rules. It is an inventory. 64 locations are meticulously detailed, each corresponding to a cache of gold, silver, and other precious metals. An estimated total exceeding 4,600 talents of gold and silver, equivalent to hundreds of billions of dollars in modern currency. The sheer scale makes it an immediate outlier, an almost defiant assertion of material wealth in a collection otherwise concerned with spiritual purity and historical record.
Hundreds of billions, not just a lot of treasure. An amount so vast, so utterly disproportionate to what was conceivable in that era, it feels less like a factual inventory and more like a cruel jest. Imagine holding the definitive answer to history's greatest treasure hunt, but the map itself is an enigma, etched in a metal that resisted decipherment for years. The initial attempts to unroll it were disastrous. Copper, brittle with age, threatened to shatter. It wasn't until 1955 at the University of Manchester that an ingenious method of slicing the scroll into 23 strips finally revealed its impossible secrets. And what it revealed wasn't a promise, but a persistent, maddening whisper.
The language itself deviates significantly from the Qumranic Hebrew of other scrolls. It's a colloquial Mishnaic Hebrew, less formal, almost terse. The 64 entries are incredibly precise in some respects, stating measurements, weights, and even specific types of vessels, yet maddeningly vague in others. Locations are described with terms like in the Great Cistern, that is in the court of Peristyle, or in the burial place of the Dead Sea of the House of Hakos. These are not standardized place names. They are riddles, local landmarks that would have been immediately identifiable to the author, but are entirely lost to 2 millennia of geological shift and urban development. Furthermore, one entry, number 64, states, "In the hole that is under the north corner at the east, which measures 40 cubits, there is a copy of this with its measurements and the explanation." A copy with an explanation, yet no trace of this master key has ever been found. It's an almost deliberate frustration, promising clarity while delivering only deeper obfuscation.
This isn't just a map, this is a cruel joke etched in metal. It's designed to tantalize, to promise everything, but deliver nothing but the chase. Why copper? Why this immense wealth? Why these cryptic directions? It feels less like a practical inventory and more like a test, a filter, or maybe even a curse, deliberately designed by an ancient mind to keep its secrets perpetually out of reach, luring seekers into a labyrinth of their own ambition. Think about the logistics. To bury such a quantity of gold and silver would require an army of laborers, immense planning, and an incredible amount of time. And all of it without leaving a trace, without anyone talking. It simply doesn't add up.
Indeed, the scale of the treasure described, over 100 tons of gold and silver, exceeds any known hoard from antiquity. Even the vast treasuries of empires would struggle to accumulate such a quantity, let alone bury it in scattered, often obscure locations. The prevailing theories struggle to reconcile this discrepancy. Some suggest it represents the actual temple treasury of Jerusalem, hidden before the Roman siege of 70 AD. However, historical accounts, like those of Josephus, detail the Romans plundering the temple's wealth, never mentioning such a massive preemptive burial. Others posit it was a community's emergency fund, but again, the sheer volume defies plausibility. Then there's the legend theory, that it's an ancient work of fiction, a symbolic list, or even an early form of satire. But why engrave a fictional list onto durable, expensive copper? The material choice itself argues against such a frivolous intent.
It feels like a siren song, doesn't it? A shimmering promise that has drawn countless souls into its wake, only to strand them on rocky shores. Take the early expeditions. Roland de Vaux, the original archaeologist, spent years combing the Qumran plateau, excavating caves, cisterns, and ruins, all while the raw, uncut scroll lay waiting. He found nothing remotely matching the descriptions. Later, in the 1960s, John Allegro, one of the original scroll scholars, spearheaded his own unauthorized expeditions. He believed he had deciphered several locations, leading him on desperate, often covert searches across the West Bank. He dug, he blasted, he explored remote wadis and ancient ruins, consumed by the scroll's allure. He even faced accusations of sensationalism and exploiting the scrolls for personal gain. The obsession was already distorting judgment.
Allegro's efforts were perhaps the most public and fervent demonstration of the copper scroll's psychological grip. He staked his reputation, even his financial stability, on the belief that the scroll was literal and actionable. His expeditions, funded by various sources, involved significant logistical challenges and exposed him to considerable personal risk in politically volatile regions. Despite his erudition and dedication, every lead proved to be a dead end. Every location, when painstakingly identified and investigated, yielded nothing but empty earth, shattered pottery, or natural formations. His conclusions, published in The Treasure of the Copper Scroll, were met with widespread skepticism by the academic community, reinforcing the perception that the scroll's promise was a mirage. Allegro himself admitted to a profound sense of frustration, describing the process as a monumental task demanding patience and self-denial.
That's where the insidious nature of this thing truly surfaces. It's not just a puzzle, it's a mind virus. Allegro, a brilliant scholar, dedicated years, sacrificed reputation, all in pursuit of something that perpetually remained just out of reach. It wasn't the treasure itself that drove him. It was the certainty of its existence, the tantalizing specificity of the directions, even as they led nowhere. This scroll isn't just about gold. It's about control. Control over the minds of those who dare to seek its truth. It's a perpetual lure, drawing generations of seekers into its orbit, promising revelation, delivering only the slow, grinding despair of endless futility. What if that was the entire point?
The theory that the Copper Scroll is a deliberate test or trap gains credence when examining its context within ancient Jewish esoteric traditions. There are precedents for texts designed to convey hidden knowledge only to those deemed worthy, often through cryptographic means or allegorical narratives. But the Copper Scroll is unique in its explicit, material-focused content. Consider the possibility that it was authored not for future retrieval of physical wealth, but as a symbolic act of defiance, or even a magical ward. To permanently remove vast wealth from the hands of an invading power, one might scatter it, but also create a key that could never truly unlock it, a final silent act of intellectual sabotage. Or perhaps it served as a repository for an ancestral memory of a lost sacred treasure, an attempt to preserve the idea of immense wealth even if the physical manifestation was already gone or mythological.
So what you're saying is, this isn't just a shopping list for ancient gold. It's something far more sinister, perhaps designed by an ancient intelligence specifically to confound, maybe even to torment. It's a mechanism, a kind of psychological weapon, ensuring its secrets remain perpetually just out of reach, consuming those who dare to pursue them. The sheer scale of the listed treasure, the unidentifiable locations, the final maddening promise of an explanation that never materializes, it all points to something beyond a mere inventory. It's a calculated act of obfuscation, a perfect trap for human greed and curiosity.
Precisely. The scroll's enduring power lies not in the possibility of discovery, but in the impossibility of resolution. It functions as a perpetual intellectual challenge, a cognitive anomaly. For archaeologists and epigraphers, it's a linguistic puzzle. For historians, a socio-economic enigma. For treasure hunters, a financial mirage. Each profession approaches it with their specialized tools, their accumulated knowledge, only to be met with the same impenetrable wall. Generations have dedicated careers, sacrificed resources, and endured public ridicule in pursuit of its meaning. It's a feedback loop of hope and failure, endlessly recycling new interpretations and new expeditions, all ultimately leading to the same null result. This isn't accidental. It's a testament to its design.
This isn't just about finding treasure, is it? It feels like the scroll itself is consuming them, like a test or a carefully laid snare. Think of the modern era. Despite the initial failures, the scroll's grip hasn't lessened. Satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, advanced linguistic analysis. Every new technological advancement is inevitably turned towards the copper scroll. There are still active groups, privately funded, poring over geographical data, cross-referencing ancient texts, convinced they are the ones who will finally crack the code. They publish papers, hold conferences, dissect every nuance of every word, and every attempt is met with the same cold, unforgiving silence. It's a cycle of perpetual unfulfilled longing.
The modern fascination underscores its timeless psychological appeal. The scroll presents a tangible, yet intangible, objective. The hunt becomes the primary engagement, transcending the actual reward. The very act of seeking, of deciphering, of believing one is close to uncovering a hidden truth becomes the driving force. It creates a narrative of personal destiny that this time, this method, this individual will succeed where all others have failed. This is precisely the mechanism of its enduring curse. It feeds on intellectual pride, on the human desire for ultimate answers, for vindication. It promises a finality it can never deliver. The scroll's trap is not physical, it is existential. It binds its seekers to an endless quest, ensuring their energies, their resources, and their very intellects are consumed in the pursuit of a phantom.
Imagine the author, knowing their intentions would forever be misunderstood, their words forever chased, never caught. A brilliant, sadistic architect of human frustration, perhaps. They created something that would eternally frustrate, eternally lure. It ensures that even if the physical treasure is lost or never existed, the idea of it and the relentless pursuit of it will continue to echo across millennia, consuming those who dare to look too closely. The copper scroll isn't a map to treasure. It's a map to human obsession, a psychological gauntlet laid by an ancient mind, designed to ensure its secrets remain perpetually out of reach, always just over the next ridge, always just beneath the next layer of dust. It's an empty promise, etched in solid metal, that continues to lure, to frustrate, and ultimately to define those who fall under its gaze. The treasure isn't buried. It's the chase itself, a self-sustaining anomaly that ensures the copper scroll remains forever an unsolved riddle, a testament to an ancient intelligence that knew precisely how to ensnare the future.